Hi, good afternoon. This is Seng. It's good to see you again. I'm Seng. I'm a real estate consultant. I'm also a Singapore backstreet boy because I'm born in a poor family. Now, today we're going to talk about why does property transaction or how does property transaction affects you as a buyer or a seller. Now, before I continue, as usual, I like to make a disclaimer that whatever my sharing is for educational basis. Now, there are three things that leads to your property price, which is valuation, density, and transaction. Now, I'm going to start off with valuation, followed by density and transaction. I'm going to wrap it up as how these factors will affect your property purchase or your property selling. Now, I'm going to start off with an example. Assuming that you or your spouse is going for property hunting, you're looking at three-bedder in a particular development. So after that, you spot this unit that's going asking at 1.1 million, and you negotiate to 1 million. So after that, you call your bankers. Let's assume that you call the local banks. So you're asking your bankers, can it be matched at 1 million? So this is what we call an indicative valuation or desktop valuation. So your bankers will in terms call 3 to 4 valuers, and they all come back with different values. Then your bankers will furnish you usually with the most conservative value. Now that value is important. In case you really go, okay, sorry, backtrack a bit. So let's say your banker call you back and say they can match at 1 million. What it means is if you really go ahead with the purchase and you decided to take a loan from that bank has to fulfill its obligation to loan you 75% of the 1 million, which is 750,000. Now, it can also go the other way. The banker can also come back to you and say they at most can match at 950,000. So at 950,000, your 75% will be around 712,000. So you got to fork out about $37,500 cash. So this is a case where the valuation doesn't meet. So you'll be asking why valuation doesn't meet. Then we will go on to the next factor, which is density. Now, in case you like to have an alternative opinion, or you are at the moment of looking to upgrade or purchase a private property, go to www.sbbcode.com, leave your name and email address, and we'll proceed from there. So we'll move on to the next factor, which is density. Now, density usually refers to how many units is in the development or how dense is the development. Now, to illustrate this factor, I would like to bring in two developments, Suites at Paya and the Mintons. Now, Suites at Paya is a freehold development with 99 units. ETOP around in 2013. It's a freehold development. So size-wise, it's about 3174 square meter. Now, the indicative sales price at this moment is around $1,275. Their rental indication for one bedder is going around 1,006 to 2,005. For two bedder, is going around 2,008 to 3,000. For the Minton Ethiopia in the same year, which is 2013, Minton has 1145 unit. Minton is a leasehold. Size-wise is 43,120,000 square meters. The two-bedder is going around, the rental is going around 3,000 to 3,005. Three-bedder is going around 4,000 to 4,005. Now, some will be wondering, is this a fair comparison? Of course, it's not. But why am I picking these two as comparison? Later you will see, because Suites at Paya only have 99 units, while the Mintons have 1,145,000 units. So now, why do I bring in density? First, let's put ourselves in the shoes of a tenant. Imagine now you're going to rent a unit together with your spouse, and let's say your budget is around 4,000. Would you want to go to Suites at Paya with 99 units and paying around 2,008 to 3,000, but your facilities is only swimming pools, a sizable gyms, perhaps a sauna, or you will prefer to go to the Mintons where there's an array of amenities ranging with multiple swimming pools, a badminton courts, a library, and not forgetting Mintons also have onsen for males and female. Personally, for me and my wife, if I'm going to rent a unit in a condominium, I'll go to the Minton. I don't mind paying the extra 500, 700 because my wife and I, we need amenities. So if the development can attract a sizable size of tenants, the next groups that they're going to attract are the investors, because investors are attracted to use. No, investors are the type, okay, there are different types of investors. This type of investors are those who want to buy a development or buy a unit with immediate rentals. So naturally, they will go where the renters go. So when there are investors, the next groups of people that will come with the buyers. So the domino effect is, one, there is tenant, there will be investors, there will be buyers, and this will always push up the transaction price. So now, if you are a seller, you are a seller, I'm a seller. Let's say I'm selling my unit same size as yours on the 7th floor. If I'm selling my unit at 1001 PSF, while you having a unit on the 8th floor, would you want to sell at 1001? I guess not. You probably want to sell at 1150 PSF or even 12. And you see, this will carry on. More sellers will want to sell high because everybody thinks their unit is better. And because there are more transactions, you push up unit. So, but how does it work out for Suites and Palais-Bar? Things will be very different over there, because Suites and Palais-Bar is a very niche development. Yes, you would draw tenants, but tenants of a different kind. The tenants probably were looking at a low dense development where they don't need so much. They want to rent a place which is much quieter. But usually smaller development like Suites and Palais-Bar, they will not attract so much investors. Now, so when we look at all this, end of the day is when there is one, let's say now there is one transaction in the Milton. Instead of selling at 1001, one seller decided to sell 1000 because he or she may need the cash. And that particular transaction will not pull down the entire development transaction price, because for Minton, they easily have 6 to 10 transactions every month. But for Suites and Minton, Suites and Palais-Bar, they only have one transaction so far in the month of April. So for Suites and Palais-Bar, when one seller sells at very low price, it will pull down the entire price for the developments. So that leads to the next factor, which is transaction. Since 2013, Mintons have 517 transactions. There's a lot of profitable transactions as compared to unprofitable transactions. Suites and Palais-Bar only have 40 transactions. So let's ask yourself today, if you are buying a development, if you are planning to stay 5 to 10 years, and after 5 to 10 years, I'm sure that you still want to exit with a handsome profit. Where would you go? Would you want to go to a development like the Mintons, that if you still exit, you can have a good profit because everybody is pushing up the prices, or you prefer to go to a niche development at Suites and Palais-Bar? So I think your guess is the same as mine, but I would say that at the end of the day, everybody would have their own preference. So we have come to the end of today's sharing. So if you like my sharing, please like it, share with your friends, leave a comment below, and I'll answer it. And if you have a question, type a question below, and I'll try my best to answer your question. Lastly, stay safe, have a good day, and speak to you tomorrow.